Okay, so let's start. Give it a few more minutes and then we can start officially. Okay, so maybe we can start. Okay, so welcome everyone. Welcome to the first ODEON Open Call webinar. It's great to having you here. Okay, so today we'll dive deep a little bit on the technical requirements of the platform. What is the platform about? ODEON, how to apply, and what the project is all about. Okay. For that, we have here Moises, he's a project coordinator. Arturo, he's a technical coordinator. And Claire is the open call manager. Okay. So I would like you to pay attention to the presentations that we're going to proceed, and then at the end we will have a Q&A session. So feel free to pose your questions in the chat if you want, and then in the end we can go over them as well. Okay. So don't worry about that. And given this, yes, I'll give the floor to, I believe, Moises in this case, that he's going to introduce us to the project.
Thank you, Rui. Okay, so yeah, as recommended, I am Moises Anton. I work for ETRA AG in Valencia, and I am the project coordinator of ODEON. So I'll give a brief overview of what is ODEON, what is our goals, and what is this European funded project. And as you can see in this slide, we are quite a big consortium. We are 35 partners across 13 different countries. And it's quite a diverse and complementary consortium that we work towards the solutions that ODEON provides. Next slide, please. Okay, so a few words about ODEON. ODEON project actually started in January 2024. We are now mostly in the middle of the project, halfway there with, sorry, can you do the previews? Okay. So yeah, as commented, we are in the middle of the project. We are actually heading towards the demonstration phase, and with that, also as part of the goals within ODEON, we also have as the goal of this webinar to do this open call that actually is quite aligned to the demonstration goals that we have also in the ODEON project. So we are testing actually our solutions in 5 pilot sites that I will also say a few words about them. And if you can go to the next slide. I would say are the main goals of the project, which at the end, and aligned to the topic of which this project is born. The main goal of ODEON is to help towards the green and the digital transition, the need to evolve from a centralized and fossil fuel system is kind of the main goal that ODEON wants to revert. And for do that, ODEON presents a set of tools, a set of solutions that help to build a more energy efficient system, a renewable energy system based that operates with a certain degree of flexibility that actually comes from the flexibility offered mostly for the distributed assets across the edges that the energy system can offer. So as a result, three main goals can be extracted from this general overview of the project, which is to expand the edge. The assets that are on the edge of the system can be, through our solutions, more controllable and operational, since they have a certain degree of complexity. Also, to increase and to facilitate this management and this digital transition, through the increased data outreach and its observability, and also to align these different business and market, let's say, questions or topics that need to be coordinated uh, through the intelligence that we kind of develop through the project, through the platform that I would explain afterwards, and also Arturo. We aim to increase the goal stability and resilience through a different set of intelligent tools that have this objective. Next slide, please. I think you have to press one more time. Okay. So consequently, all of these goals are translated mainly into these five main innovations that have this overall goal that I previously explained. But Odeon, let's say, environment at the end is fulfilled by these five different innovations that I'm about to explain. The first one is this Odeon Cloud Edge Data and Intelligence Service Platform, which is used as a referent energy data space that helps within this scope of the data controllability and the data management part of the project. Add to that, we also have a catalog of AI artifacts that at the end, they are all these machine learning mechanisms from orchestration of the devices that we are gathering in the project in order to facilitate this data gathering and data processing as well from the energy system. On top of that, we have a set of three main categories of innovational solutions, attending to which is the audience that we are achieving, which are energy services from distributed system operators, energy services also for local energy communities and aggregators, but also producing some energy services for prosumers. Next slide, please. So all of these innovation, all of these tools are being tested, as commented before, in five demonstration sites, gathering a diverse array of energy sources, networks, infrastructure, but also attending to different geographic and socioeconomic conditions across the five demonstration sites. And these are the ones that are pointed out here. We have a demonstration site in Ireland, in the Aran Islands, within an energy community. We also participate in two small energy communities nearby Granada in Spain. Also, we have an energy community attached to the demonstration activities in the energy in the island of Bornholm. but we also gather these prosumers in both France, in a rural area, and also in a metropolitan area nearby Athens. Next slide, please. So, as part, and so that you can have also an idea of which are these different demonstration sites. The Iron Island pilot site is quite a small community. We have smart metering data from over 800 customers. We have also access to quite a significant, let's say, power from solar panels. And we have also their electric vehicle chargers for private use, and we have a community of 70 prosumers that are actually the goal of this community to have some accessibility and controllability over the different small smart houses that we have in this project. Next slide, please. Regarding the Granada pilot site, as commented, we have several small communities, which at the end we gather a smart metering community of over 16,000 customers, with also some significant solar power from this community, with more than 600 prosumers that have smart plugs and controllability HVACs, but also attending in this island to the GIS topology and scale data from the distributed grid of these two small energy communities. And we also count with electric vehicle chargers. Next slide, please. About the island of Bornholm, we have several also customers participating there. We focus our roles in our efforts in 20 prosumer with different configuration of smart plugs and controllability of some other intelligent assets there. But also to remark that due to the characteristic of this island, we count with a lot of solar power coming from the demonstration on the island, and also some wind power coming from the different wind turbines that are located in the island. Next slide. The pilot site in France as well is, as mentioned before, part of a rural area, but we also count with the headquarters of SICAE, the partner that is on this project, with smart metering coming from on over 30,000 customers, also gathering solar power and wind power from different energy sources in the region. And we also focus the efforts on the island on this pilot site through the grid topology and scaled data that we can also have access from their side. And next slide. Yeah, and finally we have this more metropolitan area, which is the Mesogia area in nearby Athens, in which we have also access to a wide number of smart metering data from different customers, counting also with several prosumers that have controllability assets there, but also having access to the PV plants nearby the area, and also the grid topology and scaled data from this area as well. So that's my part, and now Arturo will take the role to explain mostly the more technical aspects of the concept.
Thank you so much, Moises. Glad to take the relay from here. First, a brief introduction. My name is Arturo Medela. I work from Bull, formerly Eviden, the R&D part of Atos, and I am part of the technical organization team in the ODEON project. So if you let me, I will deep a little bit deeper to the technical details. And to do so, I will start by going through the ODEON concept again. So we're looking for the integration of data and intelligence-driven decisions on the energy vertical and in this sector ecosystem. And to do so, ODEON aspires to pave the way somehow for this discussed energy ecosystem integration through a fourfold approach. On the one hand, we will be talking about data, then intelligence, services, and finally, macro level integration enablers. To do so, we have built an architecture platform from our understanding and through lengthy discussions. And there, we will start by listing the ODEON's Cloud Edge Data and Intelligence Service platform, which is transparent, accessible, standards-based, and highly federated, open technical enabler. Then we find what we consider the data enabler, which is an action that we achieve through the federation of data spaces. We will later make a brief specification of what a data space is and what this means in the energy vertical. So this way, through this data enabler, we achieve an interoperable and trustworthy data sharing across the whole energy sector value chain. Then we can find as well some mechanisms, AI-enabled, for data operations, runtime management. So this way, we are capable of, in an intelligent manner, allocate some workloads to computing nodes. So this way, we can optimize performance, latency, resource utilization, and energy efficiency. All in all, such mechanisms ensure the robustness of the whole system. Claire, if you could please move forward. Thank you. We can continue presenting the topics that we address with our platform. We find as well intelligence enabler, which is in essence the artificial intelligence operations stack. In turn, enables performance and secure extraction of intelligent insights using a rich catalog of pre-trained, reusable, and edge-optimized artificial intelligence energy analytics pipelines. Then we can find the so-called service enablers. In essence, they are a suite of data-driven and intelligence power solutions and energy services. Through these service enablers, we enable resilient grid operations. We are capable of empowering prosumers or promoting the decarbonization of the energy system. These service enablers as well support the DSOs, distribution system operator, in optimizing grid reinforcement investments. So we see how we are affecting another part of the energy value chain. And finally, going into the market, we find some enablers as well, which in turn are the ones in charge of democratizing energy access, facilitating non-discriminatory participation of both consumers or prosumers in energy activities, and also the market enablers promote transparent market transactions with both aggregators and DSOs. We now can provide an approach to our platform from a twofold view. On the one side, we are going to talk first about the part tightly related to cloud and edge data and intelligence and our service platform. And to do so, let me start what we consider our objective here, which is to share with you what came to be our understanding of the ODEON's project core concept. As I mentioned, first from a data intelligence perspective, which is going to involve data asset providers, data asset consumers, security administrators, and semantic model managers. Hence, these horizontal scenarios address broader data-centric concerns that apply to all energy data value chain stakeholders. And these scenarios emphasize the integration, control, and value generation from data assets. To discuss about this, first, I think it's appropriate to make an explicit mention to data spaces, a concept that I guess you are familiar with, but anyway, let's say that they represent a transformative concept in modern data ecosystems. Data spaces provide a secure and decentralized infrastructure that allows organizations and individuals to share, access, and process data seamlessly. In the specific case of the energy vertical, energy data spaces can be seen as a specific domain application of this concept. And they are designed to streamline the flow of energy-related data across diverse stakeholders in this energy sector. ODEON introduces a reference federated energy data spaces implementation, which is designed to facilitate integration of the value chain around energy and even other sectors' data. And let's discuss which could be, for instance, mobility, let's say. These ODEON federated energy data spaces comprises decentralized, interoperable, secure, and sovereign data sandboxes, including prosumers, to take part of the action, engage somehow in this action, and every time in a secure and trustworthy manner to proceed with the data sharing. To do so, ODEON establishes a collective intelligence framework. We introduce data-driven intelligence into stakeholders' daily functions and their daily operations as well through our groundbreaking, let me be a little bit optimistic here, data as a service baseline technology, which we achieve through the ODEON Cloud Edge Data and Intelligence Service Platform, which we can see in some more detail in this slide. Thank you, Claire. So from this data intelligence perspective, we find these building blocks, let's say, and what we look for is for an interplay among the centralized cloud, the private clouds, and also edge or IoT environments, emphasizing ODEON's platform key building blocks: data interoperability and governance, data security and sovereignty, cybersecurity, a trusted way to proceed with the data sharing, and finally, a set of AI-based analytics that will help in turn to proceed with different action and activities of some interest for all the stakeholders in the value chain. With this approach, ODEON shows its commitment to rebuild trust in data transactions. And how to do so? In our case, we consider that a good way to prove this trust is by enhancing transparency and reliability, while at the same time enabling the enforcement of smart contracts. So if we go to the next slide, we can discuss how the solution works. We have been talking about how ODEON introduces this reference federated implementation for data spaces. And to do so, we have different pillars. One of them is our semantic data model, which we have developed within the consortium, and we consider will serve as the harmonization instrument for all data collected and processed throughout the project execution time. To achieve this, ODEON adopts the most prominent open standards, semantic models, and ontologies within the energy sector. To name some of them, we can talk about OpenADR 2.0 or SARE for Ener, just to drop a couple of names here that perhaps gives a vibe to you. We also have developed standards-based open IoT gateway. This IoT gateway streamlines the integration of IoT devices installed at edge nodes and facilitates bidirectional communication for both data collection and automatic control purposes. This gateway provides the necessary resources for orchestrated deployment and execution of ODEON federated data spaces and AI containers. Moreover, it will host bundles of innovative data-driven and intelligence-enabled energy services and applications aimed at optimizing energy management and enabling the centralized control of IoT devices. We also find some edge computing solutions that will integrate edge optimized AI pipelines in order to inject some intelligence into energy applications of some interest that have been deployed at the edge. By employing the federated learning and optimization methods, ODEON enables federated data and intelligence sharing among distributed swarms. These approaches will improve flexibility and energy management across the ERs and flexible assets, such as, for instance, self-consumption systems, DIA programs, and bidirectional electric vehicle charging. Furthermore, these solutions will reduce latency and accelerate response times to grid resilience triggers, supporting virtual power plants in delivering flexibility services to DSOs, for instance. ODEON establishes a way for data sharing through the so-called data asset marketplace, which will employ the already mentioned federated data search and exploration engine to enable a visual exploration of the complete list of data assets available across the federated data spaces to allow interested stakeholders and participants in our data space to obtain deeper understanding of the contents and features. This data asset marketplace will be complemented with the ODEON data recommender, which will intelligently matchmake data demand with data supply, taking account of the metadata of each data asset and the semantic data model that will facilitate the semantic annotation, the search actions, and exploration over all these available data assets in our federated data spaces and also in the data stores. Upon certain data discovery, the so-called data retrieval service will be triggered to serve these selected data assets in the format or in the form preferred by the participant via custom API endpoints generated in the open API gateway across the various data space environments. Finally, the ODEON Cloud Edge Data and Intelligence Service Platform will be equipped with advanced cybersecurity features for the assurance of the integrated solution security through intrusion detection, network monitoring, and cybersecurity analysis, and the subsequent proposition of prevention measures through our vulnerability assessment engine. In addition, the poisoning detection engine is delivered at the AI level in order to ensure that we handle attacks that may try to maliciously manipulate the training datasets. Claire, if you could please move forward. Thank you. Moving to the service and market ecosystem integration perspective, we find here a different approach to ODEON solution that addresses innovative energy services and applications as the way to foster collaboration among prosumers, consumers, lease operators, and DSOs. This ODEON data and intelligence service platform serves as the technological backbone for integrating all these stakeholders in the value chain, enabling a seamless mesh of service and market flows, and somehow empowering stakeholders to enhance the grid operations, maximize resource utilization, and promote sustainable energy practices. These vertical business scenarios reflect the core energy-related challenges and opportunities for the so-called key stakeholders. These scenarios emphasize and somehow the transformative impact of ODEON's data-driven and intelligence-enabled energy services. And we can go to the finish line here. Thank you, Claire. When we address the solution from this service market perspective, we notice that ODEON energy services and applications aim to improve the monitoring and proactive management of power grids by leveraging real-time insights and advanced analytics. The tools that we put into action allow, for instance, DSOs to anticipate and address critical events. If we focus on the community or even in the case of individual levels, ODEON fosters cooperation among different kind of prosumers for them to maximize self-consumption and local energy independence. These optimized energy management strategies, combined with our peer-to-peer energy trading platform, our approach to those, facilitate efficient local energy exchanges, reducing reliance on external energy sources and encouraging somehow renewable energy adoption. These strategies empower the different kind of prosumers and operators to engage in energy markets. We also find a way to transform demand-side flexibility into a tradable commodity through formalized transactions for our data space, and this is presented by aggregators and operators. This reliable and secure provision of flexibility can be achieved through an implicit approach, which would be price-based, and some explicit approach, which is the one backed by demand response strategies. These strategies are supported by advanced human-centric solutions such as swarm intelligence-enabled smart home automation or the bidirectional electric vehicle charging. On the other hand, ODEON also incentivizes investments in renewable generation, as Moises pointed out, and flexible assets And we do so by the provision of tools to conduct an informed assessment and prioritization of viable pathways of its use. By enable an evidence-based decision-making approach, services provided by ODEON accelerate the decarbonization of the energy system in a resilient manner, expanding the role of prosumers and legs in energy markets. Together, these applications position the ODEON project as a comprehensive solution for addressing different challenges of modern energy systems, while at the same time, ODEON fosters a decentralized, sustainable, and intelligent energy ecosystem through our platform. So we'll be glad of you joining the effort and providing your nice ideas to address the challenges that we are facing here. And I'm sure that you will do so and help us to achieve our ambitious goals. Thank you so much. I leave you with Claire now.
Thank you, Arturo. Thank you, Moises. Now we'll talk. Oh, sorry, I realized there's the. Okay, so now we'll talk about the open call, which is also what you're here for. So as you may be aware, the open call kicked off on the 8th of April and will be closing on the 9th of July. So there's still quite a bit of time left. Who are we looking for? So we're looking to select 20 single beneficiaries. And by single, I mean we're not accepting consortia, but we're looking for single applicants. We are accepting all types of legal entities. So you can be any type of organization, but we are focusing on SMEs or startups. We are not going to be deprioritizing other organizations, but we really want to see SMEs and startups apply. The other criteria is that you need to be from member states or associated countries, and you should be a supplier or a single user, so supplier of a service or a beneficiary of the service. What do we offer you? So we're going to be offering 60,000 euros per project, and you'll be paid in 4 stages. We will be looking at that later in the presentation. You will be accessing a 10-month-long support program where you'll be receiving technical and business support from the consortium. You will be able to validate your services through the pilot sites, as mentioned earlier by Moises. We will be looking to support the development of services that will be sitting on the ODEON Cloud Edge Data and Intelligence Service Platform that was talked about earlier by both Moises and Arturo. So we are really looking to receive or at least fund projects that are developing innovative, intelligent, driven energy services or applications. You will be having to test and validate these innovations in real-world conditions across the 5 pilots, and we'll also be looking to ensure that these services deliver impact within the scope of the ODEON impact and outcomes within the energy sector. Okay. So one thing to keep in mind is that we're looking for proposals that will validate solutions, and we're looking to focus on the leveraging of federated energy data sharing, the use of AI-based analytics and intelligence services. We want to focus on the operation through cloud edge architectures, and we're looking to support renewable energy integration and system flexibility, as well as improve energy management and grid resilience. So this is largely the scope of the ODEON project as presented by Arturo and Moises. And so this is something you need to keep in mind when designing your project, when designing the application or service for the open call. Once again, so the objective of your service or application needs to extend and complement the ODEON ecosystem. So we're not looking for a duplication of services that exist already within the project, but we're looking for something that will extend and complement. So we're looking for an API-first integration strategy So we're looking for services that will interact with the platform seamlessly through standardized APIs. And here you'll be able to access data sets via secure APIs, retrieve AI analytics, results and insights, and also publish derived data products and analytics outputs. So we're looking that you should build value-added energy services and applications using AI and analytics modules, optimize and decision support tools, as well as visualization and user-facing dashboards. And all this information can be found in the technical guidance document that we'll be talking about in a minute. So once again, just to wrap up on what is expected, do extend the existing ODEON platform functionality by building innovative services that sit on top of the ODEON platform that deliver specialized analytics or AI pipelines and provide domain-specific intelligence. Do not introduce competing platform infrastructures or alternative marketplaces or ledgers, and do not replicate data governance, orchestration layers, or semantic interoperability mechanisms. Now to talk about another thing that is crucial to the open call. You will see in the open call terms and conditions a list of challenges. These are challenges that we would like the projects to address. So you see here 13 challenges, which I won't go through one by one because there's quite a few, but the information can be found in the open call terms and conditions where each challenge is elaborated on. But the important thing to keep in mind is that you will need to select one of these 13 challenges. As I mentioned earlier, these challenges need to be read within the context of the technical guidelines document, which is another document that we've provided for you to understand better how you fit within the ODEON scope. So in the technical guidelines document, there is more information on what was already presented today, specifically by Arturo, as it's a technical document. But essentially, there's more information about the ODEON architecture. There's information about the DS-oriented applications, as well as the applications related to Lex and prosumers. There's also information about the AI artifacts and the core architecture tiers. And finally, there is also information on what is expected of you, so that you develop something that, again, doesn't overlap with or duplicate what has already been created by ODEON, but rather extends what is being created by ODEON. So it's really critical that you read this document when developing your application, because this is going to guide you in understanding whether or not you can actually deliver something that is in scope of the ODEON project and its expected impact. So you may already be familiar with this if you've already come across this open call. We have a landing page, and on that landing page, we have the basic information, which I've already presented to you. So what we'll be offering you, what is expected of you, etc. And you can click here in case you need access to the application form. And once again, to highlight the key documents that you need to reference, we've talked about the technical guidelines document, and I've also mentioned the open call terms and conditions. And this is another critical document that you must absolutely read if you want to increase your chances of successfully applying. So in this document, you will find the open call basic conditions, and this is basically indicating whether or not you are eligible for the open call. So as I mentioned earlier, there were some specific criteria you need to meet. You need to be a single applicant. You need to be from a member state and associated country. So all of this information can be found in this document. And if you apply without reading this document, there's a high chance that you're going to miss something that is critical to your successful application. On top of that, we also outline in this document the evaluation stages for you to understand how your application will be evaluated, and I'll talk about the steps at a later stage. Then there's also information on the payment conditions and how, if you're selected, how you would be evaluated by a mentoring committee that is assigned specifically to evaluating your deliverables, once again, if you're selected. And then there's information on how to reach us in case you have any questions. Lastly, there is the annex, which has the details about the 13 open call challenges I mentioned in my earlier slide. There you can get all the details and the specificities of the challenges. Okay, now I'll take you through the application form. As you see, the application form is designed in several stages. You've got the first, which involves basic information, requires basic information. So the first is requiring you to provide us information about your project title, the acronym, the description, and there you would need to select the challenge and provide us your contact details. And one thing I want to highlight specifically is you need to indicate if you are linked financially or personally to any of the ODEON consortium partners, because if this is the case, it could be a case of conflict of interest. And what we do is at every stage of evaluation, which I will talk about later on, we require that conflict of interest is tackled because we cannot fund a project that is in some way linked to the consortium. Every case is assessed on a case-by-case basis, so there could be cases which are considered low conflict of interest and can still pass through the next stage. But of course, we will ask you to indicate this to help us monitor any potential high cases of conflict of interest. The next part of the application form concerns your legal status. So as I mentioned, any type of organization can apply, from a startup, an SME, to a university, a research organization, or any type of entity, whilst we are still really looking to encourage startups and SMEs to apply. And as I mentioned, you will also need to indicate if you are a supplier or a single user. So a supplier are those entities providing the technology and services, whilst users are those entities implementing and benefiting from the energy-driven applications. Now we're going to talk about the next three sections: excellence, impact, and implementation. If any of you are familiar with Horizon Europe, you would be familiar with these three sections, which are pretty standard in terms of application forms when it comes to European funding. And these three sections are what you will be evaluated on by the independent evaluators, which I'll talk about soon. But this is where you'll really need to focus on delivering a really excellent application. So the first section concerns objectives and ambition, as well as why you consider your service to be innovative. And you also need to talk about whether what you're proposing is credible. Okay, so you need to propose something that makes sense. On top of that, we also allow you to provide a PDF presentation of no longer than 3 pages, in addition to the fields that are included in the application form. The next section is focused on impact, and here we focus on market opportunity and competition. So what makes your service or application competitive? What is your commercial strategy? How do you see yourself scaling what you've proposed? And is what you're proposing environmentally and socially impactful? So these are the 3 criteria you need to address in impact. And once again, you can also add an additional PDF presentation to support the content that you're providing in the application form. And finally, this is about the team and the work plan. Here you need to indicate who your team members are, how you plan on developing your work across the 10-month support program, the resources that you require, and everything obviously needs to make sense in line with what you're proposing. So consider what sort of work you can deliver in 10 months with 60,000 euros, and how you achieve that. Okay, so everything needs to be aligned in terms of what you're proposing and what you're requesting financially. Finally, we've got the budget form. So here you would need to go into the detail of how your budget is going to be split, again, across the 10-month support program with up to 60,000 euros. And just remember this, that we cannot fund more than 60,000. So anything that exceeds 60K will need to be co-funded by you. So if you want to exceed the 60K, that's fine, but we cannot offer you more. You will need to fund that yourselves through your own budget. Sorry, I'll just go back to highlight one last thing. You do have other sections in the form which are important, but I didn't focus on them here because I wanted to focus more on excellence, impact, and implementation. In the statistical section, we ask you some basic questions, but we also ask you about gender balance. And this is something important to consider. We are always looking to support applications with good gender balance. So keep that in mind when developing your application form. We also ask you to provide declarations on how you will be resolving ethics, again, because ethics is a key component of the work you'll be delivering. We need to make sure that there are no high or critical ethical issues that need to be resolved. There will also be an ethics check if you are selected to participate in this project, and I'll touch upon that later. So this is also an opportunity for you to think about what ethics issues you may be needing to overcome during the development of your service or application. And finally, the last section is called Declaration of Honor, and here you need to declare whether you accept the terms and conditions of applying to this open call. So all of these need to be completed in your application form. So I just want you to keep that in mind. So here I'll be talking about the evaluation stages. So as I mentioned, there are different evaluation stages, and now we're going to deep dive into what each stage means for you. So once the call closes on the 9th of July, there will be a first check, and this check is called the eligibility check. And here we make sure that you have complied with the basic requirements. The basic requirements that I mentioned earlier on in the presentation that are outlined in the open call terms and conditions. So we need to make sure that you're from a member state and associated country. We need to make sure that you are a single applicant and not a consortium, so on and so forth. So these are things you need to consider when developing your application. Then, if you pass this first check, there will be an in-out scope screening, and this is when we do a quality check to make sure that the applications that we will pass on to the next stages are actually in scope of the ODEON project and are addressing a European or have a European dimension. And again, these two criteria, whether the project is in scope of ODEON and has a European dimension, is also elaborated on in the open call terms and conditions. Once this check has been made, those who pass this stage will move into the independent evaluation. And here we hire 2 external experts to review each application. So here we have this independent evaluation whereby the experts will review your application and provide scores and comments. Following this process, the applications will be taken to a consensus meeting. This consensus meeting brings together the selection committee. So these are partners, technical partners from the ODEON project, who will take a look at the ranking list provided by the experts. So you will see the consensus meeting concerns looking at this ranking list with a top-down approach, meaning the highest ranking proposals are discussed first, and these proposals need to be above threshold. So they need to meet, again, the criteria defined in the open call terms and conditions, where you need to have a threshold, the minimum threshold of 10 out of 15 in total, or at least 3 out of 5 per criteria, excellence, impact, and implementation. So only these applications will be discussed at the consensus meeting in a top-down manner, with the highest ranking proposals discussed first. And based on this consensus meeting with the selection committee, a selection of these projects will be taken to the jury day. And at the jury day, these projects that have been selected to participate will need to pitch their project to a set of jurors. So this is an opportunity once again for these projects to really present their project and have questions addressed to them, so that any doubts that the jurors may have had prior will be addressed. And then there will be a final selection of 20 projects that will be invited to the final stage, which is called the formal check. And the formal check is where we will check your legal status, your financial status. We will also run an ethics check. and we will check for double funding because we need to make sure that you are not requesting funding for work that is already being carried out through other projects, either locally or EU funded projects. So this is a process that can take up to 4 weeks. And once that is closed, if all goes well, these 20 projects will sign the subgrant agreement, which is the contract between the projects that are being selected and the consortium. And we've also provided to you on the microsite, which is the landing page of the open call, the template for the subgrant agreement so that you can see in advance whether or not you accept the terms outlined in the agreement, because there's no point really in submitting an application, being selected, and then not being okay with the terms of the participation. So I really advise that you take a look at the subgrant agreement template or draft to be sure that you're okay with the terms and conditions before even applying. And finally, this is what the 10-month support program looks like, as well as the payment mechanism. So we will be paying you in the form of a lump sum. So what this means is that contrary to you having to justify every single expense in light of the project, what we do is we ask you to meet milestone stages. So as you can see from this table, you have different stages, stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. And we ask you to deliver deliverables. And we will then, at the deadline date, require you to submit these deliverables. These will then be reviewed by a mentoring committee and approved by a selection committee. And if all goes well with the review, you will be paid the maximum funding for that specific stage. So lump sum means that you get paid upon the delivery and acceptance of your work. There's no need to justify every single expense, but it's based upon the quality and delivery of your work. So the first deliverable that is required of you is the individual mentoring plan and project design report. So basically, we ask you to elaborate on the work plan that you've already described in your application form. And this will be your guide for the 10 months of your participation in the support program. And you will receive up to 9,000 euros by the end of month 1, which is the delivery date for this deliverable. Then there will be a second deliverable, which is the release of the energy service. So this will be a prototype. Once again, if this prototype is approved by the mentoring committee and the selection committee, you will be paid by month 7 up to 30,000 euros. And finally, you have the last deliverable, which is the evaluation and impact assessment report, which will be paid at the end of the support program, which will be up to 21,000 euros. So in total, you can receive, as I mentioned, the maximum of 60,000 euros, and you'll be participating in this 10-month-long program. So that's about the open call. Here we also have a channel that you can join, where we provide information about upcoming events, webinars, and we allow you to post questions directly in this channel on Discord. So I've left a QR code for you to access in case you haven't joined that channel yet. And I believe that's all. So now we can start taking questions. I don't know, Rui, if
Yes.
anyone...
I
Before we start taking questions, Rui, I wanted to see if Arturo or Moises have anything to add on top of what was presented by me, or if there's anything you want to emphasize. Arturo, I think you're mute.
Sorry, the mic was not here.
Okay.
Yes, mentioning that at least on my side, there's nothing else to add. Thanks, Claire.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
open to questions. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not for my
Moises?
side either.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. So then, Rui, I'm not sure. I'm not monitoring the questions,
Yes.
so I don't know if there's anything.
So yeah, we have been receiving some questions already. So let's start with 2 questions from Alejandra. Then we can go ahead and basically go answer the other ones that are in the chat. So the first one from Alexandra is are RTOs eligible to participate, basically, okay? And are all challenges to be demonstrated? How do we choose the site? To what size? And can we use your gateways and data?
Okay, so I'll answer the first question. So as I mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
all legal entities are eligible, including RTOs. So I know it can be a bit misleading to say we are looking for SMEs and startups to apply. We basically believe that SMEs and startups are best suited to deliver the services and applications, but of course, we will not discriminate against any other legal entity. It is open to all. So it's only a form of encouragement when we say we want SMEs and startups, but no one is going to be discriminated. You can be any type of entity as long as what you propose makes sense within the 10-month time frame and the 60,000 euro maximum budget limit. And the second question, I think, was probably best addressed by Arturo or Moises.
Yeah, I can start if you want to,
please,
Moises.
Arturo.
Okay, thank you. Well, it's not required for any participant. Please correct me if I'm wrong. When reading the question, I understand that we somehow infer that any applicant should provide a solution for every challenge on the list. That's not the case.
No.
You should pick at least one and then go for it and propose your solution, your implementation to somehow address that particular challenge and the details that we can infer from it. On how do you choose the site? Well, you can go into the details that will be provided with information for these open call applicants. And then you will get to know much better the particular characteristics, specifics of each one of our pilot sites. Once you get to know them better, apart from what you already have seen today during Moises's part of the presentation with the introduction to each one of our pilot sites, you will for sure know which one of the pilot sites relates more tightly with the particular challenge you want to address. And in any case, you have our email addresses, our directions, the channel that Claire just introduced, just for us to provide more accurate and specific answers to each one of the participants. We will be mentoring the whole process, not only us, but a set of representatives of the consortium, and we will be glad to receive your questions and help you during the process. You also mentioned the size, and here I must confess I don't really understand. I don't really get what do you refer but mentioning size. I don't know if you trying
The
to
pilot sites, I think.
but I don't know how to interpret it. Sorry, that's on my side. I don't know if it refers to the whole set of options that are available in each pilot site. If that's the case, I would say no. You don't need to pinpoint exactly all the different aspects available in each one of the sites, or at least in the pilot site of your preference when you're preparing your application. We need to make sure that through the execution of your project, you are going to interact with at least some of the elements that we provide in our deployments. And in doing so, and providing you ideas, you are going to address the specific challenge that you mentioned in your application form. And going for the last part of the question, yeah, sure, you can use, I would say you must use our gateways and data. The idea is for you to interact with our APIs. We will provide a complete set of APIs for you to interact with our technical deployment and then get access to the data that we are providing in our pilot sites. That's the data we want you to use in order to shape your solution. I hope this answers your question.
Thank you, Arturo.
Yes.
So yes,
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Alessandro, if you want to clarify what you mean by size as well in the chat, that could be great. Okay. So yes, and we can move forward with other questions.
Rui, let me just add a thing quickly.
Mhm.
Just to highlight what Arturo was saying. Thank you, Arturo. So in terms of the challenges, you can only select one. You cannot select more than one. So that's important to know. You can, if you have the competencies, you can also submit multiple applications to the open call. You can submit up to three, but they have to address different challenges. So if you are planning on, if you have an interest in multiple challenges, each project you submit, each application you submit should address a different challenge. Okay, so that's one thing to keep in mind. Yeah, that's what I wanted to mention.
Thank you. So yes,
Sorry, Rui, I want also to add a
mhm.
little thing about this previous question, and is that this, when you are also trying to address which pilot site you must be more focused on, you must also carefully look at the description of the challenges, because there you will find which challenge is more addressed to what pilot site. These challenges have been described, of course, taking into consideration what the pilot site can provide in terms of data. So that's also um, kind of guiding which is the pilot site that you may be referring to. So also that's specified, but again, if you have
Mhm.
further questions, that's something that you can also ask bilaterally. But the idea, and it has been considered that the data coming from the challenges is specified in them. So wanted also to highlight that.
Okay,
Thank you.
so Alexander has clarified that size here means how many users should be involved and or how many gateways can we use, basically, can the users use. So do you need to clarify a little bit better on this?
I can recap what I mentioned, that participants are encouraged to make use of our APIs. We are providing a complete set of them for applicants to interact with the desired tools of our pilot sites and our platform. And when referring to data, they are encouraged and they must use the data that's flowing through ODEON platform coming from our different pilot sites. That's the reasoning behind the open call, to make use of what we are prepared and what we are offering, just to find an additional method of validation of the solution and somehow verify what we are talking about, fostering interactions and integrating, getting the achievement and the commitment of a vast set of different stakeholders in the energy value chain. But we can do this, we intend to do this through our platform, via our pilot sites, and thanks to the data that's flowing coming from our pilot sites.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So now we need to move forward a bit. So we have another question from Raphael. So he's asking, so if I understand correctly, if Raphael understands correctly, any new hardware solution is out of scope of the ODEON call. You are only looking for software solution based on the existing infrastructure. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. The assumption from Rafael is the right one. Yeah.
Great. So yes, I don't know if anyone else wants to add anything here or but I think the answer is pretty straightforward. So then we have another question from Chris. So what is the TRL the proposal will start and end for the each solution?
So This one, I mean, I'll ask Moises and Arturo to confirm. We've not included a TRL, but we do expect it to reach a high TRL, ideally, right? Because we are looking for a service and application, we're looking for a prototype to be delivered. It's going to be validated. So we didn't want to impose or apply any restrictions, but we do expect it to be to finish with a high TRL. I don't know if anyone else wants to add anything.
You're right, Claire, since we are aiming for solutions to be deployed in real life scenarios, we'll be talking about TRL 6 or 7 at least.
Sis, I don't know if you want to add something here as well.
No, that's it.
Great. Okay, so next question is from an anonymous attendee. So, a tool that performs data analysis and identifies solutions to propose to members of local energy communities. Could it fall under topic 9, forecasting for LECs? So I think Claire and Moises
Yeah,
are the
actually, I can contribute to that since that's the one that ETRA has proposed. The idea is that, well, to give a short answer is yes, but please bear in mind that you must also fulfill not only into the main identification of these local energy communities, you must also be willing to fulfill the scope and expected results described in the challenge. That means that you must develop these forecasting models to generate electricity and demand load profile. So that's part also what we are looking for this challenge, identifying solutions that add value to the intelligence of the data that we can provide. So the short answer is yes, but please bear in mind that you must justify your project, your open call project, identifying the challenges or describing the scope and expected results as well.
I believe that has been answered. Great. Thank you so much, Moises. If you want to add any other questions, in this case to the attendees, if you want to add any other questions, please add them in the chat or via the Q&A as well if you want to add something related to the questions you've asked before. So as in follow-ups. Okay, so moving forward with Christos. Can the SME subcontract one or two external experts and include them in the budget?
I can answer that question. So with subcontracting, you have to be a little bit careful because in essence, it should be a very minor part of the budget, usually up to 15%, no more than that. And they should be delivering a part of your project that is not essential or key, in the sense that you need to develop an application with you as an applicant need to have the skills and resources to deliver the majority of the work, right? So the competencies need to lie within your organization. And of course, if you need additional services from external suppliers, that we understand, but it needs to be something I would say non-essential, right, to the core of your project from a technical perspective, because you should be having the competencies to deliver. So I don't know if that's what you had in mind when you said you wanted to hire subcontractors.
Christos, you can reply to Claire's question in the chat if you want. Then we can also answer another one, which is we had another one from Eleonora, and then but I believe she has removed the comment, so now we have it from Juan. So who owns the solutions created? So Moises and Claire in this case, maybe.
I mean, So I think there could be, so in the sub-grant agreement, so this is again the contract that you'd be signing between yourselves if you're selected and the consortium. There should be information there about the perhaps joint ownership. Essentially, what you develop is yours, but of course then it's a case-by-case scenario, right? You need to understand if it's being co-developed by a partner within the project, then this is something that needs to be considered in your contract. So I advise you to take a look at the sub-grant agreement, which is published on our the landing page, and then ask any specific questions you may have, which I can take to our legal team if needed for further clarification. So the starting point, my recommendation is for you to start reading the sub-grant agreement and then come to us for with specific questions if you have any.
Thank you very much. I don't see any other questions from anybody else. I don't know if you have, this one is to the attendees. I don't know if you have any other questions. We have around 14 more minutes to answer your questions. So if you have any, please do them in the chat or via the Q&A. That would be great. If not, okay, so Juan is commenting, is asking because some solutions depend of the use that might be required for maintenance and so on. Okay, so thank you. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Okay, so we have one from João, which is regarding the computational capabilities on the edge. Is there any information you can give on that? All right.
Yeah, this goes on my side. I guess that in the detailed information of the open code, you will find a more clear view on this. If that's not the case, don't hesitate to get me via email or via the open code channel, and we can get into details if that's something that you are interested in knowing to prepare your application.
Great. Yes, I do want to emphasize that we have the Discord channel open after the this webinar, so you can also pose your questions there and talk about it in more detail in there as well with Moises, Claire, and Arturo. Now we have another attendee, okay, so another anonymous attendee, and he's asking if universities with a group of 3 to 4 researchers slash professors could potentially participate. So Claire, let us know about this.
Once again, yes, if you are, so I assume the applicant in this case would be the university. So I don't think it really matters what sort of division you're participating from within the university. If the applicant is a university, then it's fine. Again, at the end of the day, what we're looking for is a good application. So it doesn't matter where you're coming from. You need to be a legal entity. You need to apply as a single entity. So it's not a consortium of partners. You need to be one entity. So one university or one startup or one RTO. And this one applicant needs to deliver the work in the 10 months. So I'm not sure if I've answered your question, but it doesn't really matter how many researchers you have or what type of researchers you have. The important thing is that whatever you propose makes sense, even from a resource perspective. So again, if you said you have four researchers and you need one full-time researcher and a half part-time of another researcher to deliver the service or solution, again, describe it in a way that makes sense, and that's that. There's nothing more needed. So I hope I answered your question.
Great. Thank you very much. I think that that has been answered. Are there any more questions that you would like to ask? Okay. So if there aren't, if there aren't any other questions, or if some other questions might arise, I do suggest using our Discord channel, okay, that we have in here, okay? I will share with you the link. Um, Claire, Moises, and Arturo, do you have any final words for our attendees?
I just want to encourage them to participate. It's something really interesting, a good opportunity, and yeah, it won't take much of your time to prepare a proposal, and the reward is really interesting. Go for it.
Yeah, from my side as well to encourage all of you. And yeah, please, if there's anything that needs further clarification, do not hesitate in contact us. We are here to support you. And yeah, good luck.
Yes, best of luck. Thank you for joining today. And all I'd like to emphasize is to read the documentation properly, because I think that is really the key to understanding how you can really address the requirements of the school. Because as you've seen, there are multiple stages where your application will be evaluated. And as long as you address the requirements, you're already on the right track. So it's really a matter of preparing yourself properly by reading the documentation and taking advantage of the channel that we have to ask us questions, the help desk. There'll be also another webinar where we'll most likely repeat more or less what we've presented today. But of course, it's still open to anyone who wants to participate to get further clarification, to ask more questions. So you're welcome to the next webinar. And we will publish more information on the channel as to any other opportunities that come up. So do join. Okay, so
Um,
I think we can wrap up.
Yes, yes. Just answering to Chris, Okay, so the recording will be shared via our YouTube channel. Okay, so we will enable you to have access to the recording via the YouTube. Okay, I'm leaving here as well the Discord and the help desk. Okay, email. Okay, so yes, feel free to join, and feel free to send an email if you need to. Okay, and thank you very much, everyone, for attending. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Reed. Thank you, everyone, for your
Thank you.
participation.